learn OpenGL, not Vulkan. I'm just kidding, but there are so many points to consider, and everyone gets at least one wrong or misses it altogether. Imagine if you could make 3D graphics from scratch that look so good that when you show them to people, they ask if you are using Unity or Unreal. I always wanted to get here, but a few years ago, I was just starting learning OpenGL. I spent an entire summer conquering the tutorials one by one until eventually I emerged victorious with my first OpenGL engine. If this is what you want, listen carefully, because learning your first graphics API is something that takes a lot of time. So you can't just blindly pick a random one. Now there are many graphics APIs, but the most common ones are OpenGL and Vulkan, because they are cross-platform. And here is the first point that you need to take into consideration. OpenGL is 10 times easier than Vulkan, so if it is your first graphics API, you should probably start with OpenGL. Let me show you what I mean. This is all the code that you need to draw a single triangle on the screen with OpenGL. There are a ton of new concepts, a new programming language, and of course linking the libraries. There are of course tutorials, and I link at the end of the video the best free tutorials for OpenGL, plus a very important video. But starting can still be difficult, as it was for me in the beginning. Until you have all this code written out perfectly, you get a black screen.
What?
So there's quite a lot to learn just to get started. Side point, but if you are still stuck at this stage, I made a fail-proof OpenGL tutorial for beginners, specifically to get you through these first steps. And if you are very lucky, you might even find it at a discount. So check out the link in the description. But looking at Vulkan, you have to write 10 times more code to render a single triangle. Now, is it impossible to start with Vulkan? Absolutely not. In fact, there's a guy on my Discord server that started with Vulkan, and he's just 14 years old. And if you ask him, he'll probably tell you that Vulkan is easier than OpenGL. And don't get me wrong, we all love Mr. W, but opinions like this are the best argument against free speech. Okay, I'm just kidding. He also wouldn't recommend you to start with Vulkan. Imagine spending 3 days to write all of this code and you barely understand what's happening. But because you made a teeny tiny mistake, you get a black screen. No errors, just a black screen. I'm not joking, that's how graphics programming works. I'll show you a trick later in the video to help you a little with this, but most of the time, you just get a black screen and no errors. And that's also valid for OpenGL, but you just have way less code to check. So you should at least have a lot of programming experience if you really want to start with Vulkan. Now, for this reason alone, I think you should start with OpenGL. Period. OpenGL is already hard and many people give up on it. But I also want to quickly cover the other smaller aspects. And then I'll show you the tutorials that you need. There are two main arguments that people give for using Vulkan, and those are that it's faster and that OpenGL is dead. So let's go over them. Vulkan is absolutely faster, but it's not something magic. Switching from OpenGL to Vulkan is not like switching from JavaScript to C++. Both OpenGL and Vulkan control the GPU in very similar manners. It's just that with Vulkan, you get way more control and features. But if you don't know what to do with those features and how to use them, Vulkan for you won't be much faster than OpenGL. And you can still do some nice stuff in OpenGL. The Minecraft-like game that I'm making runs very smooth in OpenGL, so I don't really have any reason to switch to Vulkan. But is OpenGL really dead? It's true that people focus on Vulkan, but OpenGL isn't getting removed soon. In fact, it even got the new Mesh Shaders extension. Furthermore, some embedded devices and browsers only support OpenGL-S with no or poor Vulkan support. So even if you want to learn Vulkan, because the concepts are the same, it would probably be easier for you to learn a little OpenGL and then switch to Vulkan after you understand the basics. So here are the tutorials that you need for OpenGL. First of all, there is a way to enable better debugging for OpenGL, that I don't know why, but people just don't talk about it. So I have a video about this technique and 2 other useful ways to debug OpenGL. So you really need to watch this video or else debugging will be a nightmare. Then you have the learnopengl.com website that you probably know about. But there is also this YouTube series that is extremely good, especially on 3D stuff, so you absolutely need to watch it. Speaking about 3D, you need Math for 3D, so this is the video series to learn it. Now, if you want more resources, you can find some on my Discord server and some on my channel, so subscribe to not miss out on future videos. And if you take my OpenGL course, I have a full roadmap for you at the end of the course, so you know exactly what to do start to finish. See you!